Hey, what's up, Prince? No, man. Everyone is asleep. You playing some Roblox this late? Everyone is asleep. I did want to play something. Um, we'll see who comes in here. Hopefully, it's not a repeat of last night, but if it is, we can figure that out. Last night was pretty quiet, and then we hit a stride, and it was not quiet anymore. I was merely trying to just push through. Um, I can't. It hasn't been getting easier of late. So I just came across this before. I mean, obviously, I was going to stream. I stream every night. Oh, I'm not. I'm not gaming tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't do that on stream anymore. I'll save that. I think somebody had a good idea. Said I should just start a separate channel with the game side of me. And I guess if I see a lot of people the way they manage that. Oh, Ruben made it this evening, huh? Ruben says, "What's the word, man? You trying to wake me up? I was kind of down and dark. Um, Let me see if we got some. Okay, we got 3 votes on the polls. Um, yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I could wake up. Sometimes something just gets me, and I'm able to go into it. But if I like to be truthful, I think that's what always made this not plausible for me. What has always made content creation and YouTube not plausible is that there's gonna be a time where you're not feeling it. Darnell just gaming, so you get it. You get it. I actually had a channel called Darnell just homesteading. Uh, I had this everything. You get it. You get it. You get me. Um, but yeah, I feel like I don't want to say I prophesized like or just not in like a biblical way or anything, but I just feel like I could forecast and say I don't like this all the time because when you're not feeling it, how do you like I'm just not a fake person. I'm just not a fake person. And when I feel gloomy, I express gloomy. And I think it's a little contradictory to have a channel, or at least the way people may not understand how I interpret it. But when I say I'm here for positive energy, I don't think what I mean is that you're gonna walk away and always feel like, oh, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. We're gonna heal, and I'm saying positive energy as in just being real, and in being real, there's both sides of the coin. There's happiness, there's sadness. And no, I'm not sad. I'm exhausted, and at the same time, I feel I just feel like a little. I feel a gap. I feel a gap from this feeling right tonight. Um, but I've been trying to be professional. You go, you hear me loud. Oh, am I loud? Like, there you go. I hear you loud. Yeah, no, it would be cool to start a channel. Somebody has suggested that. I've struggled with knowing what to do with. Yeah, there's ugly people. There's ugly real people. Think I'm catching on to you. Oh yeah, you attract the supply. Yeah, I still got the tag on this one. I think I got this for, it was on clearance. I got a tag somewhere. I don't know how much I paid. I don't know if you can see it in there, but I got this one on clearance. Yeah, you understand. No, I read through it. Um, yeah, I think that's hard. There's not too many creators that I've watched that I genuinely feel like okay, they're just being themselves. Um, and I remember when I was creating content a couple years ago, wasn't this consistent. I didn't really have a goal. I was just kind of throwing things out to the ether. Um, but I would remember that I didn't value it. That's where I get my feed for my girls. Oh, I know who the girls are, Ruben. In fact, let me see if you got a channel. Did I miss? Did I miss something? I want to see the girls. Um, okay. Ruben hasn't put the girls up yet. We'll get something one day. But yeah, I was posting content and I didn't prioritize it. I didn't value it. Um and I don't think I was wrong. I used to have these talks with a friend. He comes in the chat every now and then, and I would tell him like, you got to get the work done, right? First and foremost, the work has to get done. I'm not gonna prioritize setting up a camera and and then I'm trying to. The best moments are not when you set up a camera. Can we just agree that the best moments are not when you set up a camera? They're just not. And I don't know if I have to get one of those, I don't like the technology that's out there with the glasses, but in real time is really like, that's like the best, moment. And then at that point, I think, let me go get the camera. And at that point, there's already like a reduction of quality, of realness to the moment. And so everyone who's creating is trying to captivate that real time moment. Ruben says, yeah, I don't, but I was seeing pictures. All right. Yeah, my email is on the about page. In the and on the channel description. If you want to put them on YouTube, that's all the better. I think we all should have. I don't think I've ever said this to you, Ruben, because when we get on here at night, I'm not outside. My hands aren't dirty, and it has evolved. But generally, I used to talk a lot about what I wanted to do was talk about like the behind the scenes and what I'm going through and all the changes that I'm trying to make and develop um and it's turned into something that's just a little bit more organic and not that wasn't authentic, but I don't force that if the topic comes up, just like me talking about, what I don't like about creating content in the real moments. But I think that we all should have it because it's our one way to connect. It's probably the best way now to connect with people, you know, outside of your local people, whether that's digital or in real life. Um, that's just my spiel. But yeah, I used to create stuff, and then I would go run and get the camera, and I had to stop favoring my SLR camera. So that was also a problem for me because I've always wanted this SLR camera. I got it some time ago. I know why I wanted it. I never reached the pinnacle of why I got it. I don't want to be a photographer. I'm not even trying to be a real videographer. Um, I just wanted to be happy with what I produce with that camera. And when I started creating content on YouTube, I'm like, man, well, I have somewhat of an advantage. Yeah, it's not gonna be better than what somebody that's like spending a whole lot of money, but at the time, it was better than what a cell phone is gonna give you or a webcam. I'm on a webcam right now, and if I put my camera on, it's gonna look a lot better, especially if I manage the settings the way that I now know how to. That took a while. Um, but so I wanted to use that advantage, right? The lunatic farmer, um, he hit one of his main things when that's Joel Salatin. One of his main things when he talks about business, he talks about your unfair advantage, right? Like I'm 6'3". If we were doing something that required height, I'm half the distance there, right? You don't hire just like when I needed to do my the flooring in my house. I'm 6'3". That was a bad idea. Everything was low to the ground, and it sucked. I was just talking to a guy about this at basketball. So now we're getting back to like the homestead. I was just talking to a guy about this on Sunday. I put in 1,600 square foot of flooring in my house, hardwood, and I didn't know any better. We thought when we bought the house, just like every TV show we watched, when you have like carpet in the house and you lift up that rug or carpet and you peek and you see these wood floors that just need a little TLC, and that's gonna be what brings them back to life. Mm-mm. That's not what was in my house. It was particle board, and it was warped particle board. So, I'm doing my research, and the quote we got to do it professionally, I couldn't even tell you the type of like it was definitely over 20,000, and not a chance. I don't know who they thought they was talking to. Um, I know people out there that just they come up on money or they just overpay for things, but you can't get me to rationalize why that would cost that amount, especially in an empty house that they can pretty much navigate around the right. They could do it the right way. They could do it fast. Yeah, and they was making money. At least the general contractor was. He was making money on because it was a foreclosure, and we got one of those um, one of those loans where you get the repairs that are approved. Ruben says, "Yeah, I got to get out my box." Was always yeah, yeah. Never really got into social media, TikTok. Yeah, I could. I mean, I don't think you gotta. I think this is a curve. I think YouTube. Just to speak to your comment, I think YouTube is kind of a curve of that. YouTube to me is more AOL centric than it reminds me of. Like it's closer to MySpace than it is those other platforms. Um, Especially the way the algorithm kind of keeps you boxed into your own group. So I don't. I think you'll be fine. See, I don't play with those other platforms. TikTok, just because the ownership is a weird data intrusion into your life of your data. Now I know a lot of companies they already, where they house their data, how that data transmits around. I get it. I understand. I'm a software engineer, Ruben. I'm sure you know that already. Um, but the people who own TikTok, I wouldn't do it. X or Twitter, I I just think they've been good at. There's a diverse group that is super energized on it. The most energy is still on Twitter. The Twitter fingers are still tweeting on X, and it's too energized for me. You can't say anything because there are people that are just waiting to Twitter finger you out of the conversation. Um, Snapchat, I think that's just who it's for. When they did have pretty unique technology when they first came out with the 24. You don't want to get left behind. We are already left behind. We're banking on YouTube sticking around. See, like what you have to understand, Ruben, is that a lot of these companies are super. A lot of these companies and technologies, they're old. They're old. Twitter is I think Twitter's like 20 years old. Let me see how old Twitter is. Yep, Twitter's 20 years old. Twitter started in February 2006, and I remember. So when you get um, these technologies and companies, they've gone through the maturation, they've matured, and they're not the same young company that they were. And they have to make decisions in order to stay around, similar to like car companies, right? Like you got to do something to stay around, and sometimes it's what you wouldn't think. Sometimes it's changing the parts that's inside the car. Sometimes it's being bought out by another company just to retain your name. Um, these technologies are old. My point in saying that is when you say, you don't want to get left behind, the new thing that's coming, um, kids are already on to the next thing while we're here. So we're already out of that game. And these platforms they can die on a heart. They can die fast. I've spoken about this a ton. If YouTube changes their model, which is not likely like fast, but you just never know. If they change their model, if they are more selective in their partners program, if they are more selective on ad revenue and passing that off to the partners, people leave. I mean, what's a content platform without content? The wave of the reaction video. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of content. DARPA has all the new future technologies, I'm sure. I'm sure. And don't get it twisted. I mean, somebody's writing code somewhere, so technologies could go in many different ways. The point is, let's just break it down. We're streaming the same as somebody was streaming 25, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, they were YouTube. All right, let's break this down. Let's break this down. What is a stream? What is a stream? All right, before we do that, I want to play this video. I had it up before we jumped in, and then we can get into this what is a stream, since we just kind of define what this is going to be about. Let me take my big head off the screen. Just wanted to play this real quick.
Down is mystical and magical, but there's science. Writing things down is mystical and magical, but there's science behind it. Here's why. When you think a thought, it's in your field. Science knows this. It's there as a wave of energy.
Okay.
An electron is a wave, but when it's observed, it becomes a particle. Mm-hmm. So you think a thought, I want to make $100,000. I want to make $1 million a year. I want to make $5 million. I want to have $10 million in the bank. I want a Lamborghini. So you think a thought. It's a wave of energy.
Up until when where he's going, I already had and I'm sure many of you already had feelings towards the difference, just from a emotional standpoint, the difference of writing something and typing something.
When you look at it and see a picture of it, it stops being a wave and becomes a particle because you've observed it.
Okay.
And then when you write it down on a piece of paper, ideally white paper with a pen with blue ink because there's energy in the color contrast to the brain, you transfer what's in the ether into the physical universe. Here's the analogy. If you look up in the sky and you see some clouds and you go, oh, it's an eagle. Within a second, the eagle's gone because the clouds move.
Yeah.
When you think a thought, oh, I want a Lamborghini, it's gone, just like the cloud. Unless you capture it and write it down on a piece of paper, you don't transfer what's in the ether into the physical universe. When you transfer it to the physical universe, it becomes now physical. It becomes real, writing it down. Why is writing it down on paper better than if you type it into your phone or electronic device? When you write, and think of something that nobody does today, cursive writing, which is Palmer penmanship, right? When you write cursive, there are thousands of neurotransmitters firing off in your brain.
Okay.
And thousands of neural pathways because of the movements of your hand. So therefore, when you write down what you want, the impression that it's making in your brain is in thousands of locations.
Okay.
When you type, there are less than 24.
Really?
Yeah, because there's only 24 movements.
Interesting.
And if you use your thumbs and do this, there's 2.
It's even less.
Exactly.
Man, that was crazy. Ruben says, New York Giants football fan, huh? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a football fan. I'm just a Giants fan. Vikings fan over here. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not too deep into I played Division III college basketball. It's a pretty decent athlete. I like sports. I like competitiveness. That's within sports and out of sports. I just like mastery. I like people who like find a way to dominate. I love the story that leads up to the domination. So naturally, football has a lot of that, but I tend to think of sports in more of a storybook way. A lot of times, it just seems like WWE to me these days. But yeah, so I was making a statement about I just wanted I called these companies old, and I wanted to double back on that. I was wondering what that thing was. I just wanted to double back on that. Now, the concept is that I'm about to follow is, well, what is a stream, right? So the main technology that a stream is based on is this RTMP, real time messaging protocol, right? So when we talk about what is going to, when you say being aged out of technology, yeah, you said that was interesting. Yeah, I got to check it out too. I'm gonna find it. I'll follow up on it because when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, kind of got me. Um, but yeah, so about being aged out. So like, this is the real time messaging protocol. RTMP is a TCP based technology designed for low latency, high quality audio and video streaming. It acts as a first mile ingestion tool, transmitting data from encoders like OBS, which is the program I'm in right now, to streaming servers like YouTube or Twitch. RTMP, as detailed on Wikipedia, works by breaking down large video packets into smaller chunks. So this is that old school like buffering kind of technology. YouTube right now, my stream is working on RTMP. So let's look at the age of RTMP, the protocol itself. Oh my God. There ain't no way you taking that long to bring back the age. Okay, so RTMP officially arrived in 2002. So we're dealing with a technology that's 24 years old, right? So something's cooking. Something's got to be cooking. That's a long time for. Oh, that's what's wrong. My internet is choppy. That's a long time for a technology to be around. Um, so as far as being left behind, I would think we're already left behind, and we just got to be happy and accept it. And it's okay to me because a lot of the technology that's out there, it's being used wrong. I mean, we're going to start after I get past this 100 days, we're going to hopefully start making an investment that I wanted to do from before into introducing some technology into the, my systems, into the chicken coop and the chicken run and the garden. And those are the things that we should be chasing as far as technology. Social media at this point is just coming down to text, pictures, and video images. That's basics. These are basic things that have been here and will be here. The new things or the real technological implementation, the transformative technology like AI, is already cooking, right? Not the stuff that we're using now. Um, and that's not the only thing that's cooking. I'm sure there are others that are cooking things. I mean, you think about the web itself, like just like websites, right? You think 50 years from now a website is going to hold value in its current form? I don't. I don't. I've worked on hundreds of websites. It's not going to hold up because pretty much the same thing I was doing 15 years ago, I'm still doing today. And the reason why is because you don't have to change it right now. There's no reason to, because people still rely on it. Companies still use it because there's so much infrastructure to implement. So you probably got to wait for something, some constraint, something to happen that just like moves things. I don't know what's up with I hope you're still here. My internet seems to be going in and out. At least with the chat in OBS. Everything else looks like it's green. But yeah, so I just wanted to jump in here. I didn't really have a topic tonight. I'm tired. That's my topic. I'm tired, and we're gonna make it. Like I said, we're gonna make it to the 100 days, and then we're gonna do a reassessment and evaluation on what the goal is from there. But I will be in the yard tomorrow. I got a lot of plants. Cool, Ruben. Oh, you're listening? Cool, man. I think this is the first time you've been hanging out at night, like at least for an extended time. We usually I've gone through, especially since I've met you, I've gone through some evolutions where we were doing vertical streams only, and those were filled with random people coming in the chat, people just swiping, and it is what it is. And then now we're doing a dual stream. In the dual stream, there's no real promise of the random people that come in, but then there's some nights where the regulars may not show up. So it is sometimes hard to carry a conversation. But you're a chicken guy too, so you understand. Today I had a moment where I had to leave. I usually let my chickens free range. And unless there is something that kind of alarms me and says, no, I probably shouldn't let them do it. But I had to leave my house to go take my son to practice, to baseball practice. And I just left them out. You just leave the run door open and they tucked themselves in. By the time I got home, oh, make the pick. Yeah, you need to catch them a lot. See, Make the Pick is doing it. Make the Pick is our resident dishwasher. Meet Ruben, Make the Pick. Ruben comes on the lives I do outside a ton. And has been really active in supporting the channels and the shorts that I've been posting. But yeah, I had to leave. So I left them, and I mean, on one hand, it's like I've already thought about maybe there's one day. Excuse me. Maybe there's one day when things don't work out, the way I need them to or want them to. But it's just so interesting to see them just do their own thing. Put themselves away. You're the best at it. What soap did you say you use? Do you put a little bleach in the water? Let me know the tricks. Make the Pick. But yeah, no, I just let them put themselves away. And when I got home, I've been collecting the eggs late. That's the thing, man. I I get super lazy because they're so good at just doing the routine, right? Like they do the routine all the time. But I have to take some freedom back. I do. Um, like for instance, I blocked them from this garden that you've seen me like, start. Oh my God. See, when I read that, I don't even want to. Ruben says, yeah, last time I let them free range. Dang raccoon got to them. It was 4 out of 5 girls. Wow. Yeah, I have an interesting setup, and it's not that I haven't seen some predators because we've had our fair share, but I'm a weird one, Ruben. I watch things. I'm very observant. Um, I feel like so I've had hawk attacks. Um, we've had a fox. And this is gonna sound weird. I had a goose. Um, but every attack was, I would say it makes sense. It all made sense, right? Like I've never had like random raccoon. It's not a lot of trees around here, so everything that's roaming around, they gotta fight the birds of prey, and it's a nice balance. But when I seen the fox take one of my birds, I was upstairs. The bird was just about to start laying, which was the hardest part for me because, I raised them from a chick, and one of the flock from that group started laying already. So I was like, oh, it's about to be on. And what happened was, when the hens are smaller, they're super crafty and they get into small little spaces. And I couldn't understand why they were able to get out of the run. Now I know I built the run, so clearly there's probably a hole in it somewhere. But it wasn't, I don't think it was something that I did. It was just that it was something that I was able to ignore with the other hens, and the other hens are more or less likely to do that. Um, they would, there's holes all in there's spaces all in the fence. My neighbor's son, he's been training for soccer. I have a cedar fence on that side. He's basically been breaking cedar boards, and I see where there's like 2 to 3 fence links that are just down, and all of the chickens could just go run through. So when they're in the backyard, now I know the way that they think is, yeah, we ain't going over there. We know it's over there. We good. So I don't stress it. But maybe one day. I think they have really good hearing. Good hearing, good sight. I don't know much about the smell, but I definitely know the hearing and the sight because when I'm around them, I've seen them, like I've looked down at the ground. Maybe I'm raking something or I'm digging something out, and I look at the ground and I see nothing, and they go pick out a freaking 8-inch worm. It's like, where did that come from? How did you see this little crevice? It was like a little tiny hole, and it must have been looking up at them. And the worms are goner like instantly. And then I know they hear really well because every time I walk out my back door, they start charging towards the front of the run if they're in the run, or if they're outside, they start charging towards the door. Like, Big Papa Pump is coming to feed us. So, But yeah, they're a blast. But all of the attacks, like I said, when the hens used to get out in the morning, and I guess while you're not having attacks, you don't have anything to be afraid of, right? Like you're just like, okay, they got out, I'll put them back. I did that routine too many times, and that fox taught me a lesson. Hey, Katie. Oh, trust me, I know the feeling, Katie. Yeah, no, I was thinking about that the other day. I probably was it earlier or yesterday. I don't even know. I was thinking about what you have ahead of you with school and what am I doing with my life. Um, yeah, don't worry about it. We're not gonna be on that long, so you don't have to support that much longer. I haven't said bye yet, though. I have not. Make the pick just joined after some great dishwashing, number one skill, and Ruben's been holding it down. Ruben watches a lot of the streams in the daytime, outdoors. So the hens got out, and I'm upstairs, and I heard a sound kind of like startled me, and then I go to the window. Um, nope, no good nights yet. We're gonna keep a limit cap on 3 to 4. It all depends on who shows up. So I go to the window and look and see this beautiful fox, and I it already has the hen. It's like it's doing a little. It looks like a cartoon. It's just doing a little hop away. It goes this way, then it goes that way with the hen, and the hen was a little younger, so it was even easier, a little snack. So it just carried it away. And I was amazed at nature. I was just like, it's one thing to watch. We all watch this stuff or have watched on TV, and you see, there's always a voiceover and they dramatize it, but when you see it in real life, it's like, oh, this is it. It's going down. I get hawk stalks. I don't know if that's a proper term, but I have noticed that one, my hens are safer when they're out than when they're in an enclosure that doesn't have the appropriate distraction from like the hawks. Because I have noticed hawks that just sit there and stalk, and then they come back the same time every day. Like, oh, it's about 8 o'clock. He about to walk out there and give them food, and that door is gonna be open. Man, my chat keeps getting disconnected. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. So I took a risk today with letting my chickens kind of find their way while I was at baseball practice for my son, and everything worked out. It was a fingers crossed moment, and we're in egg flow season, so I gotta figure out how to get rid of these eggs. I don't know if I can even preserve enough if I tried. Oh, Prince is back. You enjoy interaction. Well, that's good. Yeah, I hear you with the pet pig. I oh, that's cool, man. No worries. Yeah, that's cool with the pet pig. I never thought I would be this close to farming either. My goal was to do. It's more in the home. That word gets beat up every now and then, but it's more in the homesteading where I just enjoy I enjoy being able to have that security for my family, um, curve the supermarket and all of the pressures that are out there or what's going on. But the biggest thing is like, how else would you learn just about these things? So like when I'm working with any kind of vegetation or agriculture, I'm not necessarily thinking that I'm farming. Now I'm starting to move towards that because who knows what the future holds, that it might be an opportunity or something that I may enjoy more. But it up until now, it has never been that. So like a friend was telling me about, like, yeah, you better cover those blueberries or all the birds are going to eat them. And I was, 200 pounds. That's not a pig. That's a pig. 200 pounds. I feel like, oh, that's huge. That's farming. That's farming. But pig, I'm sure pig, you said pigs are pretty smart, right? And sociable. And so I get it. I haven't gotten there. I don't think I've ever been around a pig. I know I've never touched a pig. But I think about it. Okay. I only know, Katie, I only know about from the people that I've watched. And I've never watched someone who's like really a pig farmer. I've watched people who are more enthusiasts, or they just get into it and they're going through the learning process of it. Wow. Well, they have different farm pigs because one of the channels that I watch, Soda Land, he's a huge YouTuber. He's had different breeds. I've seen the potbellies, and I guess they're all for different things. But yeah, no. I even watched those wild hogs, the trapping videos. You guys ever watch that? That stuff is nuts. When they lower them in, and it's like a gang of 25 hogs, and they pull that or press a button, pull that lever, and the hogs be going crazy in there. Oh, Burrock. Yeah, I've heard of those as well. But again, like I've only heard of those through either Soda Land, who he doesn't have a huge operation, even though he does his own harvest now, which is cool. And then another channel, the one I always go to, Lead Farmer. He now has pigs, so he went through like the initial phase, and he was talking through the breeds and all of that. Yeah, I don't know a lot of that stuff. I don't even know a person, if I've ever been around a person who knows that stuff. I'm like fresh. That's why I don't really know much about farming per se. I like more permaculture. I like just like systems, how systems work well, how you can improve the system. Like so far this spring, the task for me has been understanding soil at a deeper level, like from the pH level, and identifying telltale signs of the pH, and whether I can help improve that. And I've loosely known these things, like, oh, sprinkle some coffee grounds or sprinkle some egg shells, but now I'm putting a number to it. now observing the pH, and like when I planted the blueberry patch, which my wife says looks like a pepperoni pizza, I ain't gonna be able to get away from that one. But the blueberry patch, they like they like acidic soil, and so I made a mixture of peat moss and sand, play sand, and that's gonna support all of the little hairy roots. Oh, you have seen Soda Land. So Cupid wouldn't get that big. Oh, yeah. Right, where did my baby pig go? Putting out a lot too. Yeah, Soda Land is an awesome. Okay, so you've been around. You know the good peoples out there. Then yeah, I watch a lot of channels. When you had said, and like coming from SFF, I've never really watched what I would call like family farm channels. I guess like Justin Rhodes, he's one that comes to mind. I don't catch him too much. I don't know why he's not in my algorithm. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of channels for a lot of years. And I don't even know if I don't know why. I guess it's my entertainment. Yeah, I think I watch him for more entertainment because it's not a lot. There was a phase where I see someone do something and I'm like, I gotta try that. But I'm way past that phase. I'm at the phase now where I want to offer people some of my solutions. I'll make the pick with the nightly sports update. Says the New York Yankees really took a beating today. 3 homers in a row. VC? What is VC? That's not Vince Carter. Prince, what are you talking about? Oh, let me see. Prince said, type everybody's name on Roblox. Man, you love that Roblox, man. I don't know if anyone in here is on Roblox. I I don't know. I don't know if I've ever thought I would have to say that. I don't think anyone in here is on Roblox. I know I'm not. Um, and I'm okay with that. I've thought of making games for Roblox though. Um, but even still, I'm like, they might as well be the New York Stinkies. The New York Stinkies. Oh, your father used to butcher pigs, cows, goats. Yeah. Not to ruin the meat. Yep. Don't mean to offend anyone. Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm doxing, but Shadow Black, who's a moderator, he worked at a factory, he used to have to put down the cows. So no, you're definitely not offending anyone. I think YouTube is really only sensitive with showing that stuff, but you could talk. I've seen people talk about it, but the one let me see if I can find the channel of the guy who I think does the best job with. I was just watching him yesterday too. He has the Pimp Cast, which stands the PIMP stands for something. It's like something to do with permaculture. Oh, permaculture is my passion. PIMP. Permaculture is my passion. Yeah, that's my. His name is Billy, but I gotta find his channel. And his son's channel is the Permaculture Consultant, and I actually been watching him more than the father. the son did an internship with Jeff Lawton. Um, Jeff Lawton is one of the first students to the designers of permaculture. And yeah, he's the man. It's hard to compete with that. um, I heard him tell a story about yeah, this is his name, Perma Pasture Farm. This is Billy. Very cool skill to have. Yes, absolutely. Ask my uncles to help me. I am gonna Prince, I am gonna start. I was talking about that earlier. I'm gonna start a gaming channel. It was coined Darnell Just Gaming. Someone said that in the chat. It was Julie said that in the chat. I watch who I see as put in the hard work to benefit others, good, wholesome community. Watch support without breaking my bank account. Yeah. Yeah, because everything is about money these days. You think that's a good name? Thanks, Prince. Thanks, Prince. But yeah, this is Perma Pastures Farm. He's one of the top people. I think he actually used to be a butcher. He has like I say, he has the pimp cast. A lot of good information. He sells bone sauce. If you have a lot of deers, he also does some great composting. All different types of hot composting with chickens, turning, and his son, who is the permaculture consultant. That's his son. I remember when his son was strictly on his channel, but now his son is doing his own thing. And man, if you guys are looking for some good permaculture based content, he's on it. And it's cool because he's absorbing a space that I think some of the older people who've been doing a great job for years, I don't think they could compete when it comes to understanding how to get this up on YouTube or the tricks that you need to follow. So I think he's doing a good job of getting in front of people. You're trying to do your part, but you at least get your watch hours while enjoying interaction and information. Sure. But you know, Katie, we're not going to get to the watch hours within the 100 days. So you, just trust me, we'll be fine. We're going to be fine. I was thinking about it earlier. When we get to the 100 days, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to have so much information that I could get some sleep and come up with a plan to take down monetization. And so I think we're totally fine. I think I was a little too holding myself to a standard. I watch different YouTubers all around, and one thing I found interesting is one of my favorite new YouTubers, or I'm new to their channel. She hit 100,000 subs on one of her channels. So you know, most people are gonna have multiple channels, whether they call it clips or whatever they do, right? So she hit 100,000, and then she had already started her second channel, which is she's kind of separating the live experience from the celebrity based content that she does on the other channel, which is good. And she only has 2,000, but like I said, you're gonna cross promote, so she only has 2,000 versus 100,000. She just got a YouTube plaque, and I see someone with 2,000 people, and they're struggling to keep 20 people on the live. But what I did appreciate was you could tell she seemed unfazed, because it is that moment. And Mick the Pick could reason with this, because Mick the Pick plays music and has played music in front of people. You're not supposed to play harder just because you're in front of 1,000 people versus 100 people, or even 50 people, or 20 people. Oh, I'm gonna play harder now. Like, so you got to just do your thing, and whatever happens is gonna happen. Since you do like having that conversation, or we have had it, Katie, I've been wanting to put something together to show you some interesting findings, because there's a lot of stuff hanging out in the data. I'll give you a couple things off the top that I don't even have to do much to research. Do you know that in the last 2 to 3 weeks, that every time I've sat here on what I call open studio with Darnell just talking, in 2 weeks I've gained 1 subscriber. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 1 subscriber. And I'm gonna really want to break this down, because it's like, I don't think that they're against me. It's not a conspiracy, right? It has nothing to do with that. But you have to acknowledge that you can't sleep on one or the other, right? So I can't just say, oh, I'm only going to do live streams. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Most of my subs are coming from shorts, which give no watch hours, but give subs. So I have to do both. Have to do both. And the third part to that is the videos, which probably could do a little bit of, I would say more so watch hours than subs, but I wouldn't doubt that subs could come from that, especially if something like really jumped off. But yeah, I've gotten 0 subscribers in 2 weeks. Even though I'm gonna stay the same. Yeah, no, I feel the same way, Ruben, and that was kind of what I was so impressed about. What her name is, she calls herself Tam Burger, but I was so impressed to see, and I'm watching her replay with the live chat, and like she's kind of like unfazed. You could just tell she's super seasoned on it, and I'm gonna be fine as far as the whole live thing, because part of it is you have to be able to, like, I have all of this content that I've watched over these years. So like Katie saying she's an avid watcher of all these things. So if she goes out there and wants to do Potbelly Pig content, how much of what she has seen is what she's doing? So I've had to realize, like, look, that's not exactly you. You're doing things because you think that they, like, you've seen them. Sort of like if you are making a music album, a lot of artists don't listen to music when they're making an album because it's going to influence them, right? So I think once I get into a groove and I keep trying certain things, there's going to be something super unique, but it's organic, but unique about what I bring to the table. And that's why I thought gaming would be okay. I thought I could sit here and game, but what weirded me out from gaming is that I did do it one night and it got a ton of interest and the people kept coming back, but they only came back to say, "Can we play a game right now? Like, can we play? When can we play?" And I was just like, "Aha! There's like different communities. Like we're here for everyone's here for different reasons, and I didn't know that existed. So I don't think the two mix. I don't think people that want to know that I was planting broccoli and I'm thinking about what can I, plant as a companion plant with it and then play a video game at the same time. So I'm just learning all those things. And, Ruben, you're catching me in the last 20 days, right? But the first 20 days was fighting the technology, like fighting it. And I've only spent, I don't say my old spiel anymore, but I've only spent $20. So that's this sounds crazy. This whole ride, I'm only using stuff that I already had. I know I'm not telling that story. I'm not standing on it. I get that. Um, I understand that, but I've only spent $20 in total. Yeah, you're very far from being a game, and I don't think my idea was to have. I'm not a gamer, even though I play games. I don't have the love, the I wouldn't even say I have discipline. I would say that I have an addictive personality. So while I'm doing it, I'm into it, you know. And when I set a milestone for myself and I get confidence about, oh, I could actually achieve this, I'm gonna achieve it. That's what this is, right? I mean, I don't got nothing left in the tank, Katie. I'm pushing the car right now across the finish. I'm pushing the car across. It's in neutral, and I'm pushing it across the finish line. That's the reality. Um, but I'm not a gamer either. I thought that I could sit here and play some games and figure out how to have a quality conversation, um, and just have a conversation, let it be quality. People start talking. The misread, man, that's the hardest part at this age, Ruben. You ain't lying, man. And I say it all the time. Doing it by yourself is like 5 times as hard because I'm not even a person who likes to be. I don't like to be this. You know how people say they don't like to be the center of attention. I'm okay with being the center of attention, but internally, I don't have a need for it. I don't have that ego. So I think the people who are truly talented, like I think I'm good at telling stories. I think people would like when we get into some deeper information, I think people enjoy that, but it's a niche. It's not like it's never gonna be a large group of people who are like, oh my God, we gotta have this information. And so I know that. So I shouldn't let the quality or the discipline of where I'm going should have nothing to do with the response. That's kind of my mentality. But I had a misread. There was a misread on I at this point I think I could teach or give a workshop and say, what you think this is going to be like, it's nothing like. This is what it actually is, because if I could tell you that you might be facing people, what are you going to do when you have 10 people in the chat and 8 of them don't speak your language, right? And they're pasting stuff in the chat in different languages, and you just showed up to the stream, and your whole thing, like my thing, is positive energy. The reason why it is that is because I'm literally here to join the war of information, where a lot of people they don't realize, but they're doom scrolling, and while they're doom scrolling, there's a lot of negative energy that's being put out there, and people are bringing that into their system. I was unintentionally doing that as well. I don't think I was doom scrolling, but a lot of the content that I was watching, the algorithm, my feed continued to give me the same type of content that I don't think was beneficial for me. And there were things that I couldn't find anymore, and I didn't realize it, because you start showing up out of boredom and you're like, oh, I ain't got nothing to do. And then you go back to this. And when you go there, their main metric that they play on is engagement, and engagement is you swiping. So they're okay. Engagement is, and the reason why they're okay with that is because they have that feature where the video could start playing while you swipe once you put it once it's in the view of the camera, right? So now you have another way of engaging with this, and all you got to do is click into that, and now we're ad eligible, and that's all this is about. It's a platform. This is a newspaper. People take out ads in newspaper. People publish ads on a content platform. It's no different. It's no different. So, but yeah, I think it's super hard at this age. If I had it my way, I would still come on. I would have friends, a lot of people that I know, that I talk to, that I have conversations with about really good quality topics. They would come on and they would join me. Hey, what you talking about this night? Oh, we talking about this. Oh, you'll be a great person for that. And they'll come and they'll join me. And then what you'll get to see, what I wanted people to see from me, instead of just watching me like figure it out and talk and carry the room. What I wanted people to see was that I ask inquisitive questions, that I'm really good at. I'm a great problem solver. I don't give myself much credit for a lot of things, but problem solving is my thing. And in order to problem solve, you've got to know how to work with information. You got to know how to get information, inquire to get information. So those inquiries, those questions, they have to make sense. Gotta eat. No phones allowed on the table. What time tomorrow? Mountain time. Around 9 p.m. Mountain time. Nope, sorry, 8 p.m. Mountain time. 9 p.m. Central. I usually go around 10 p.m. Eastern time. and I'll have a random stream probably in the afternoon here. But thanks, Ruben. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I agree, man. It's props to me for sure. I deserve it. But like I said, if I had it my way, some of the characters that I talked to, hang out with, some good friends over the years, they would be a reoccurring figure of the show, and they would just kind of call in, and we could talk about some stuff. Like, I have a friend who has like a very serious operation. I won't say it because then he gonna be like, you outing me. I had a friend who, went through an aneurysm. Um, I I could bring so many people on here to talk. People who, sad to say, been to prison, all types. But it's a weird feeling when you go out there and you do this. And people that aren't. It's I don't know if they know how to support, because the way we spread ourselves so thin these days, I think that's what the problem is. Solve your problem of fitting school into your crazy life. Well, school's not that hard. That's just organization. Yeah, just you gotta just stay ahead of that. I don't think school as an adult is a lot easier than it was, like, if you had to do it the first go round. But yeah, that's what I do. I solve problems. I don't, even as a software engineer, I don't see myself as a software engineer. I'm a problem solver who uses software. That's what it is. And kudos to you, Katie, for supporting these different creators. Um, I truly hope that creators are doing that. They're doing the job to create good content to share um, with people and really build community. That was my biggest thing of coming on YouTube, is to build a community, more so than even sharing my story. Build or join a community of people, of like-minded people. Um, I'm fading a little bit, Katie. I don't know why when I get to the low eyes, I think it's time. So I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks again for coming through. Um, you won't be watching YouTube. Yeah, or you might be watching YouTube to learn about whatever topic your your course is. But yeah, I can't wait to check in with you about that. That seems like it's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be easy, but once you get over the hump, you'll be better off than a lot of people. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Um, we turn it into something, and that's it's still one good night, Katie, but I do have a point to make. Um, I question the skills that I'm learning when I'm doing this, and there's obviously multiple approaches when you don't have something prepared and you kind of just go with the flow. That's like one skill. Mick the Pig says, "Don't be a sucker for love, sucker for love." Um, there's different ways to go with this. It's not really a twice good night because I'm still capturing I'm on the cusp of the first good night. Um, but I feel like I have to make this point. Like, what was the point? See, you gonna get me slide into the second good night. Oh, the skill. So the skill that I'm doing now is like I can go with the flow. And, we could make something of it. I don't think there's been a night where I wasn't able to make something of it. But I do have to gauge whether that requires more energy, whether I'm more fatigued from it, whether I'm more vulnerable to it. There's even some nights where like I didn't even have a pole, so I'm getting real comfortable with being able to come on here, but I don't know if that's the skill that that's going to take me to the next level. Like, it's good to have, but there was one point where I was trying to have more preparation, but I've definitely, since we've gone to the dual stream, I don't think I fully have calibrated, but we'll get there. So I'm still closed within the first good night, as long as it's within like a 5-minute period of saying that good night. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be in the back chat. If you guys say anything crazy, I might have to jump back on. But I'll be in the back chat. I'm going to just play some videos. You guys are free to, you know how I do. I see you guys. Don't be a sucker for love. Peace.
Oh my gosh, it's not easy!
Oh my gosh, it's not season. It's the season. What is this?
It is a wood chipper.
A wood chipper. No, it's not.
Just tell us.
How about you guys read?
Oh. And the ancient cider press.
Cider press. Home food. Yeah. They used to hang, this is where they hang like the Christmas decorations from. What store? Behold! Let's get the content. Let's get the content. That's right. Let's get the content.
You get down here, right? Yeah.
Right. Alibi.
Got it.